The man pried open his glasses and stacked the two lenses together. Then he snapped off a tree branch to collect some pine resin, which he chewed into a paste before sticking it between the lenses to create a makeshift magnifying glass. He found a hollow stem and inserted it into the gap, then filled it with saliva. Right away, the man grabbed some dry grass and positioned it carefully. Under the sunlight's focus, wisps of white smoke began to rise from the grass. Excited, he quickly added kindling and blew on the flames, trying to get the fire roaring. But surprisingly, he picked up his water cup and doused the flames. Listening to the hissing sound on the rocks, the man took out his knife and started digging at the spot he'd just burned. Turns out there was an iron spike embedded in the rock, with the other end attached to the man's ankle. Everything happening here was punishment for trying to desert the battlefield. Since he wanted to be a deserter, his commander had chained him to this position. He'd stay on the battlefield until his dying breath, unable to leave. Before leaving, the commander left him some supplies and warned him not to try any sneak attacks. But the moment they were gone, the man started assembling his rifle and loading it. Too late though, his unit had already vanished into the thick jungle. To survive, he needed to escape fast. He fired a shot at the chain. The impact was excruciating, but the bullet still couldn't break the shackle. At least he'd made that magnifying glass. There was still hope for escape. The man kept pouring cold water on the hot stones and digging with his knife, all while enemy planes scouted overhead. To get out faster, he dug non-stop except for eating and sleeping. Finally, more and more of the spike became exposed, strengthening his will to live. Unfortunately, he soon ran out of dry grass, and his water was almost gone too. He poured the last of this lifeline onto the rocks, desperate to pull out the spike. But even with all his strength, the spike stayed firmly embedded in the rock. Then he remembered he still had some spare bullets. He quickly pulled off all the tips and poured the collected gunpowder into the hole, packing it tight with stones for one final attempt. The man covered his head and waited. With a violent explosion. Due to copyright restrictions, if you're interested, check out the original film The Cuckoo.
Hi.